If you're looking for a monitoring solution for immersive mixing, GroundControl Sphere by Ginger Audio is exactly that. In this video, we'll take a look at GroundControl Sphere to configure multiple sets of immersive inputs, such as Apple Music, your favorite DAW, and the Dolby renderer. Let's go. Sphere is a powerful monitoring controller, offering broad compatibility via limitless I/O routing. Built for immersive audio in mind, Sphere offers comprehensive speaker calibration capabilities and flexible bass management. In this video, we'll take a look at practical scenarios for setting up Sphere for immersive monitoring and stereo monitoring. Let's have a look. The input section offers up to 8 input sources, A through H. The output section can be assigned to a dedicated queue and to different monitoring sets, including mains, Alt1 and Alt2. But you can also expand the output capabilities by clicking on this bank. In the center of the interface, you have a big knob for volume control. You can also phase invert the left or right channel, flip the left and right, check model compatibility, and isolate the side channels. In the master section, you can hook up talkback, volume control, and you can predetermine presets for the target level. You also have a dim switch and a big button for cut. This will mute the output of Sphere. On the top panel, you have control room peak meters, a control room section, and a control room loudness meter, which comes in handy when monitoring for Atmos. Additional settings can be found here on the menu for configuring with Yukon and other MIDI controllers, but we'll get to this in other videos. Sphere also includes 3 virtual sound cards: Sphere 16 with up to 16 channels, 32 with up to 32 channels, and 64 with up to 64 channels. These are 3 separate virtual sound cards that can be used with any configuration, either stereo or immersive. How does this actually work? How do we configure it with different applications? Well, let's have a look. For this first example, I'm going to configure input A to play back 714 from Apple Music. So for that, I'm going to choose Input Audio Device, select Sphere 16 Mon, and I'm going to select 714. I can also choose a color for this input and label it accordingly here. That's it. I've done the same for other applications, but I'll show you that in a minute. Next, I'm going to select the Sphere 16 monitoring output from my computer. Let's launch Apple Music, and we'll go into one of my spatial audio playlists of mixes that I've done for other clients. You can find this on Apple Music by typing in AlexProMix mixed in spatial audio. Let's check out this song by Joan. We'll select Input 1. We'll see all the multimeters working. The control room configuration is currently set to 714. So if I enable main, I can output this on my virtual sound card. In my system, I use an Avid Matrix Studio. And so Sphere is taking the audio signal from Apple Music and routing it to my audio interface, which supports a 12-channel configuration. In this case, I can see the monitoring for the front channels, the LFE, the surround channels, and the height channels. What's cool about this is that you also get the control room loudness meter. You have different platforms here to monitor, so let's choose Apple Music, hit reset, and let's turn up the volume on the music player. And it's that simple. So with Apple Music playing in the background, let's configure Logic Pro X. For that one, I'm going to go to Input B and choose Sphere 32, select 714, and that's the sound card that I'm going to use inside of Logic Pro X. Here in Logic, I've loaded up a session, and let's check out our audio configuration. For this, we're going to go to Settings, Audio, and I've chosen the second virtual sound card, which is Sphere 32 Mon. Click on I/O Assignments. It's currently set as 712. Let's go ahead and change that to 714. And let's figure out what this routing should be. So under Sphere, I can see from the preset the channel routing, which should be LRC, LFE, and then all the other channels. So LRC, LFE channel 4, and then everything else is going to follow. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Let's ensure within Logic that we're using the monitoring format 714 and hit play. Now we'll select input B, and there's our live mix from Logic. As you can see, all the multimeters are working. So what's cool about this is that you can quickly monitor a live commercial mix playing back from Apple Music and switch to Logic Pro or your favorite DAW. And there has been no simpler way to be able to do this prior to Sphere. The ability to quickly jump between mixes, A/B reference mixes that are done in immersive, from a live mix that you have going on in your DAW. All right, so let's take this a step further. We have input A assigned to Apple Music, input B assigned to Logic Pro. Let's select input C and assign that to the Dolby renderer. Same logic follows, where we're going to choose a third virtual sound card, Sphere 64 Mon, 714 configuration. And now let's launch the Dolby renderer and use that for the sound card. In the preferences, I'm going to choose audio output device and select Sphere 64. Click accept, load up a file, and click play. While this file is playing, I can see the meters taking place here in the Dolby renderer under input C. And now I can quickly toggle between Apple Music, Logic Pro X, and the Dolby renderer. Additionally, I can take a set of outputs and audition the live binaural mix from the Dolby renderer. Let me show you how to do that. Remember that input C is using Sphere 64. And so on input D, I'm going to use Sphere 64, and I'll choose channels 13 and 14. So we'll open up the room setup, click on the headphone icon, and see that the binaural live mix is routed to channels 13 and 14. So what does this mean? This means that with Sphere, I can monitor the live mix taking place from the renderer on speakers, and I can quickly switch to input the binaural mix on headphones. So I can check what my immersive mix is going to sound like using the binaural live mix. Additionally, this is something that I don't want to monitor on speakers. So what I can do is I can feed this to the queue. So for that, I'm going to choose Send to QA, and go to QA, and then assign this to a separate input on my audio interface so that I can monitor that on headphones. So having this type of flexibility is a game changer. This means you don't have to spend thousands of dollars on an expensive audio interface. It's compatible with any audio interface that you currently own. And secondly, it's the quickest way to be able to audition and A/B compare different mixes from Apple Music, your DAW, and the renderer. Now you don't have to use Sphere in immersive mode only. For example, if you want to set it up in stereo with different virtual outputs and check your mixes up against commercial mixes, you can do that as well. Input E is currently configured to Pro Tools Audio Bridge. This is another virtual sound card, and I'm using inputs 1 and 2. So if I'm doing a stereo mix in Pro Tools, I can have this be my main output. Reference A can be the same sound card, but a different set of channels, inputs 3 and 4. Reference B can be yet another set of outputs from Pro Tools, 5 and 6, and so forth. So I can quickly toggle between my live mix, reference A, which could be a stereo waveform on my session that's being routed to these virtual channels, and reference B and C. Going back to immersive mixes, and you have a 714 configuration or 916 configuration, there's a quick way to solo your channels. By clicking on top, I'm isolating the height channels. These are the height speakers. Wide, front, or surround will isolate those speakers as well. Notice that when you click on any one of these channels, it selects it here on the control room. So if you're looking for an innovative solution, GroundControl Sphere is a high recommendation in my book. If you want to find out more about Ginger Audio, please be sure to visit gingeraudio.com. I'll leave a link on the bottom of the video description. And again, if you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments below. Thanks again for watching. My name is Alex from AlexProMix. I'll see you again real soon. Peace.